This is Dr. Gus calling from Florida.
Hey, what would you like to talk about?
I'm just calling in to talk about COVID a little bit. I'm a veterinarian in Florida. I'm not practicing right now. I'm doing a degree in molecular biology at the university. But basically, I just wanted to call in to talk about ivermectin. I'm not a conspiracy theory. That shit doesn't work for COVID, but um, it from we actually use ivermectin a bunch for animals, and it is insane that people are using the horse based. Like, as crazy as it sounds, it's even crazier. um, we use ivermectin for dogs a lot for heartworm prevention, and even veterinarians we don't give ivermectin from one species to another because it is so highly concentrated that it can go extremely wrong. You just literally die if you overdose on it.
Wow.
And yeah, so maybe a week ago, we actually got an email from the Florida Veterinary Association saying that they've gotten reports from veterinarians pushing ivermectin to their clients. There's been obviously an uptick, and that's where it's coming from. It's veterinarians giving it out to clients. Yeah, it's crazy. If you see with all this COVID stuff, a bunch of crazy medical doctors doing all kinds of weird shit, veterinarians, you'll find even crazier people in the profession that are willing to go even farther. So it's a huge problem, and ivermectin is basically a miracle drug for us. It's very similar to an antibiotic. It was found in a bacteria uh, decades ago, and it's magic for parasite control. So the worst thing that can happen now is if it becomes a controlled drug, because it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to ruin people's lives because it's something that we use every day. Um, it's
Now,
pretty bad.
now it's from what it sounds like. It should be shocking that no one has. We don't know, but there's been no reports so far that I've seen at the very least of people overdosing on it and dying.
Right, exactly. I think one of the main reasons it's happening that way is because the people that are taking the paste, veterinarian would actually give them uh, accurate dosing, which is super. It's perverse to even think about it that way. But for example, it happens a lot for dogs to go blind when they overdose in it.
Wow.
It's a thing that can cross the blood-brain barrier, and yep, you can go blind by overdosing in it. So yeah, it's pretty serious. And something that's not really talked about is how it affects the animal care too, right? For example, a few months ago, I had an owl that was hospitalized here. We had done surgery for broken wing, and then owl was ready to go. And it's a wild animal that you don't want to have caged. And we wanted to put it in a rescue facility, and the rescue facility only takes owls that don't have any diseases. This owl had a parasite in it, so we needed to give a hydroxychloroquine to the owl to get rid of the parasite, and we could not find it anywhere. And this owl was stuck in a cage for 6 months because of crazy people are taking hydroxychloroquine. Um,
Wow, well, that's amazing. Well, let me ask you this question actually, because I read a post that someone put on a Facebook group for people who take ivermectin. This is a anti-vaxxer group. Um, they had a question. They said that it tastes terrible. They asked if they could put the ivermectin horse paste up their butt. Uh, would this have an effect? Can you use ivermectin rectally?
I definitely don't recommend you do that because so well, it's tricky actually, because so a lot of these formulations are made to be absorbed through the upper GI, and before they get approved, there's a lot of testing done to see how fast they get absorbed by the mucosa of the gastrointestinal tract. If you put it rectally, the rectum absorbs, I think in some cases faster. So you might get an actual higher dose than you would expect if you take it orally. So definitely don't put it rectally.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And right now, so keep an eye out. Right now, there's a recent study coming out from Brazil that they found some peptide in a venomous snake, and the venom of a snake that helps decrease. It's like an in vitro study. It decreases the replication of COVID by like 75%. It's kind of meaningless, but yeah, keep
Wait,
an eye
what
out.
was that with the snake? What was that? Snake venom?
Right. So there's a research group in Brazil that recently published a legit paper that saying that they found a peptide, a protein in the snake venom of a Brazilian snake that decreases the replication of COVID in monkey cells
Oh
by
boy.
75. Yeah, by
Oh
75
boy,
percent.
we're
Uh
gonna
huh.
be get ready for the next big trend of anti-vaxxers out in like the Amazon, all getting bit by poisonous snakes.
Yeah, and so actually in the 90s in Argentina, there was this craze about a venomous snake being able to be used to treat cancer. It was like crotoxin scare, and yeah, people were doing this thing to cure cancer. So I think it's coming for COVID now. Like they're going to people were
Unbelievable.
like trading snakes and stuff for yeah.
It's amazing that they don't understand what that like. That is actually like when it comes to what you said about the COVID thing. I don't know too much about the cancer one, so I'm not going to mention that. But what the COVID one, like that does seem to be a big discovery. But what people don't understand is you don't go out then and like get bit by these venomous snakes. The point is they try to extract the venom from the snake and then do studies on it to find out what is in the venom that can be extracted to possibly if it can be at all or whatever. Like they do this research to find out what can be used in like human application. Like they're not saying like we're gonna go out and get people like you go visit your doctor and get bit by a snake to cure COVID.
Right, exactly. And not only that, the biggest step after you find all that, the biggest and most important step is figuring out delivery, like how to get the actual product into your body. And that step is the one that takes the longest. That step is what actually makes the mRNA vaccines. If you ever want to know, this is a little bit of a tangent, but if you ever want to know if someone actually knows what they're talking about, when it comes to mRNA vaccines, you just listen to them when they talk about the production. The mRNA itself, it's not a breakthrough. It's like lame shit that we've known for years. What's actually a breakthrough, it is the nanodroplet, the lipid nanodroplet that delivers the vaccine to the cell. That it actually makes it. Because if you just inject RNA into people, yeah, nothing happens. Our immune system just attacks it, eats it up, and doesn't produce anything. It's the nanodroplet that actually delivers it to the cell that makes a big difference. And the same thing with drugs. The delivery method is the main thing, the hardest thing to figure out. And yeah, these people are just in the very early stages. And then most of these things, like 90%, don't go anywhere because, yeah, you just can't figure out how to get it to the right place without hurting the person, right?
Right. Thanks for the call. This was very informative, very interesting. The most important takeaway is that I will definitely not be injecting horse ivermectin up my butt. So thank you.
Yeah, keep it out of your butt. All right, man.
Have a great night.
Thanks for taking the call. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.